All right. Shalom, Salaamah, Shalom. Greetings, my Israelite brothers and sisters, whether you are of the bloodline of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the house of Israel, or you are grafted in under the blood of Yahusha HaMashiach, and you're a Gentile that's grafted into the blood. So shalom, family. Shalom, everyone that's coming on in here. I did this. I pushed this live real early because this was supposed to be a recording. And, it was a good recording. It was a good recording. I said, oh, man, I got off that thing. I said, thank you, Yahusha, because you gave me a great word. I said, Father, I thank you. I said, this is something that needed to go on out. And I realized that the thing never recorded. And so I'm like, oh my goodness. And I tried to record this thing 3 more times and it never worked. So on my screen, Castify, which is what I use, I had just bought the gigabyte storage to give me about, some space and storage. So I thought that I was good. And because I have both of my accounts, my little native account, which is my name, and then the Covenant Awakenings account. And, from there, it was like, oh, the file extension doesn't exist. I said, oh my goodness. So I'm gonna have to figure this thing on out. I said, the devil's a liar, because you want to know why? Listen, I was like, this thing was so good. I said, this thing is so good. I said, you know what? I said, the enemy knew that this thing was going to change a lot of hearts. It was going to change a lot of hearts, not with the Gentiles. Okay. Let me just caveat that. Not just with the Gentiles, but with us as a people, as a nation, as a group. And so, Shalom, family, y'all coming on in here. I'm not going to give you the by name Shalom, because I wanted to get on into this, because this really is hanging on the coattails of the love, or the Gentile question. And that was love and marriage. And so, family, when I did this, I give that oratorical design. And I was breaking it down, and sometimes when I think about these things in terms of how the Holy Spirit leads me into this stuff, I always say, "Oh man, thank you, Father. That was a good message." I said thank you for the tie-in and the wraparound, because let me explain this thing in terms of how our people are. We don't just want to be told no. That's not how you think. That's not how we think. That's not how you're supposed to think. But you have to give the anecdotes of, this is why we don't think like this. And let me kind of explain it, and I wouldn't just say, this is why we don't think. I said, look, we give the anecdotes, and then we say, look, we're framing it to where this is how the Most High sees things. So you can see things contrary to how the Most High see things, or you can be in agreement and you can be in alignment. And so I said, this is kind of coming on the on Dante reaching on out to 7 trumpets, and that interview tonight. And this was really a big build and a big tie-in, because I had to understand. Look, we're in a time frame, in a period to where we are now beginning to establish a lot of those principles that our ancestors once had. Now, that principle and that establishment wasn't done overnight. It wasn't just created overnight. It wasn't just, said and put on out there and bam, we're all going to conform. Mm-mm. We're awakening in a manner to where you have a lot of us that had some sort of a relationship or in a relationship with a Gentile. And there was a lot of the stuff going back and forth in the comment sections, and for the last live that brought on Yakoba and Teyu and brother Robert, and it was a lot of stuff that was on out there, and that stuff was in our people. It's a carnal minded activity, which is fine. Because here's the thing, you can't just build anything without understanding the foundations. We can't just get to the building block without going through the necessary sorting of activities and events. And so when I was looking at that, see, what I could see and how I was seeing things was, we're seeing people that are expressing themselves within 400 years of pain and agony, and a lot of that time in tragedy and emotion. And so last night, I was still working on my family tree, and I was going through ancestry.com because it's a project I'm trying to do with my family, because there's some other things that's on out there that's a real blessing. I didn't even think about this until really my dad and I started talking, and then one thing led to another, and this was part of that blessing. So we're still working on it. And sometimes, when you are getting blessed and the Most High is getting you prepared for that blessing, you do have to go and take charge of that blessing. Because you got to remember, see, the enemy wanted to always take our inheritance and keep our inheritance, right? And there's different mitigating circumstances that the enemy is trying to use to ensure that our inheritance doesn't come into our hands. And so, as I'm looking up at this, at my family tree, there was a lot of things going on in my family tree, even clear up until my grandparents, and the way that they had separated and they ultimately divorced. And when I was able to search, it was like the hints and everything on ancestry.com. It went from literally like 20 to when I stopped and I got off of this at about like 11:15 last night. It was about 600, because I researched down to about 7 generations, including myself. I researched things down into slavery in North Carolina. I was finding records. And so I'd already had the contention, always had the contention that they know who we are. They know all of the stuff of who we are. I'm sure that they probably have the quantum computers that's already traced us on back, that's already stratified us, that knows who we are, that knows, what our genetic makeups are. I'm sure they have all that information. I wouldn't doubt it. And so when I was looking at that stuff, I said, okay, well, there's a lot here. But what I really saw was that there's a lot of heartache, a lot of pain, and a lot of consternation, because, if you think about this, we've really been the first generation that has had, that analytical trade and skillcraft that was taught to us. And when I was looking at it, look, we as a people, we were just pumping out children left and right to help us in our daily task, for being laborers. Because all I could see in my family was just labor, and nothing in terms of a skilled occupation. And that's okay. That's okay. I wasn't like demeaning them. Oh, look at them. Why couldn't they do better? Well, guess what? They really couldn't do better. They were in North Carolina. They were in the South. They really could not do better. Some were able to. They may have been doctors. They may have been lawyers, but they may not have been recognized as such, especially in those census takers. Okay, you're just black, you're Negro, laborer, colored, laborer. And so when I was looking at that, I looked at that in the eyes of, we have generations worth of pain that's attached to us, generations worth of suffering that's attached to us. And now all of a sudden, when they're giving us this Pepsi, this new age uh preaching and teaching and this environment and this atmosphere that's trying to foster black folks integrating, Israelites integrating. And I say this, and I had already put this on out there in my video I tried to make multiple times. I said, y'all are going to definitely unsubscribe from me, because here's the thing. When we're answering these things, we looked at these things in a totally carnal mindset, which is fine because this is all the mindset that we know. When Yeshua had spoken to the centurion, he said, look, I've never seen that much faith in all Israel. Uh-oh. Here come the Judaizers. Well, you want to know what? That Roman centurion, that was really a Israelite and this and that. Okay. No, not really. Especially centurion. So you know what centurion means? Centurion means that was a major or higher. It was an officer. And given in the same respects, you don't even become an officer in America's military if you're a non-US citizen. So imagine being a non-Roman. Imagine being even a Roman that was an Israelite, a black person. No, it wasn't happening. You would be conscripted. Yeah, you would be conscripted, but you wouldn't be at that centurion level. Nope, not at all. You weren't going to be an officer of Rome like that. Nope, not at all. Show me in history and antiquity that happened. It didn't. Think about that. Did you even have black officers during the Civil War? I'll give you a couple minutes to think about this. No. So when we're looking at that, we see that the biblical exegesis that's there is not very solid, or has a very contempted attitude. You have to understand who's saying those things and why those things are being said. They even try to say, well, Jesus talked to the Samaritan and she was an Israelite. No. And this is why I said shout out to Brother Christian, because we were seeing it that during the time of Tiglath-Pileser, in that Assyrian time frame, and this morning, I had a lot of stuff, and I don't want to rush, but it feels like I'm trying to rush into this because I've already done this. I'm trying to re-go over notes that I don't take. That Assyrian captivity was where the Israelites literally got taken on out of that northern kingdom, and they brought on in other people to be Samaritans. This is why they didn't call them Israelites. They just called them Samaritan. We're in the land of Samaria, so we're Samaritans. And then the folks that are there, Oh no, they're Israelites. And this morning I was listening to Brother Berean, and he was saying that because he was providing the context. I understand that. I'll listen to that. I don't listen to much else, but I'll listen to that because we don't really have a great exegesis when we're talking about these things because we don't like to understand the historical context behind that. And when we don't understand the historical context behind those things, we do things that obviously meet what we want to have in the carnality. And what I was and you have to understand, remember, Yahusha, Christ was saying, listen, love your neighbor as yourself. Right? And you love God, and you have no other gods or Elohims besides him. So if you love God with all your heart, mind, and soul, and you love your neighbor as you love yourself, then guess what? That law is pretty perfected. See, the problem is in our carnality, we don't want to love people. We don't want to love people. We just want to say, oh, you want to know what? You did us wrong. You did us dirty. I can't wait for the Most High to punish you and this and that. And I said, you got to be careful with that, family. You have to understand, don't dip your toe into the carnality because the carnality will leave you destroyed. And so when I read this stuff through from Brother Christian earlier today, when he sent me the email, it was like 6 a.m. I said, I don't know when this dude sleeps. He sends emails at 1 a.m, 2 a.m, 3, 6 a.m, but he is just on fire because he's so fervent about getting the historical picture aligned. And when he gets that historical picture aligned, it's showing what we had gone through in the history of things and how that was arranged. So, the Holy Spirit had brought this on up to me in good, proper order. He showed me, he said, okay, go ahead. Look at Daniel. Daniel 12, 1 and 4. Okay, so let me start at Daniel chapter 12, verses 1 through 4. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince which standeth for the children of thy people. Oh, who is that? That's our angel. He's fighting for us. Then we say, look, the Most High is fighting. The heavenly, they're waging war in the heavenlies. Why? Because there's signs, there's wonders, there's this stuff, there's that stuff. All these things are happening because there is a season. Because we're in our captivity and now we're getting ready to leave. See, a lot of people don't want us to leave our captivity. A lot of nations, matter of fact, the whole world doesn't want us to leave our captivity, but they can't stop it. This is why they're getting ready to fight each other because of this. And there shall be a time of trouble. Aren't we seeing that time of trouble? Such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. These nations, especially the nations that were in this captivity that are under, are now they're literally trying to figure out what's happening. This virus that's going on, they're literally UK second lockdown. Folks in the UK, I know that you're listening because really you ain't got nothing else to do. Boris Johnson done made that known last night. Y'all have nothing else to do. So shout out to my UK folks, my British folks. It's like, the British Knights, the DCs, the Derek Colemans. Back in the day. I know. Back in the day. All right. And at that time, thy people shall be delivered. Everyone that shall be found written in the book. Oh, man. thy people shall be delivered. So what are we being delivered from? Well, we're being delivered in terms of right now who we are as a people. Do you understand? We're not out of this captivity just yet. But now in the middle of this chaos, we're coming up. We're breathing. We're starting to see. We're starting to understand. We're starting to pay attention. Verse 2, and many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake. Do you understand? And many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake. You understand, family? We're literally dead. We are literally dead. We are literally just on out there doing what we're doing. And, this was the verse that I said, this is the problems that we have in our community. We had been dead. Even me. I don't speak for anybody. I speak for myself. I was dead. When I got married in 2002, no one told me about interracial relationships as compared to what the Bible had stated. Because if you looked at that, remember, we were all heathens. We were all Gentiles. So did it really matter? Think about that. Nobody told me, hey, guess what? You're an Israelite, so you need to kind of understand what's happening because this and this and this. And so what I didn't know, I didn't understand. I just said, okay, love is love. And this is the person I choose to love. And that's that. There was no, hey, that's a Gentile. We were both Gentiles as far as what we knew, because nobody had awakened. Let me tell you, who here literally had awakened at that time in 2002? Who here? Let me ask. What, you want to know why? Because everybody at that time was talking about Jay-Z. We were talking about, Lil Wayne and all them. I was talking, I was talking about Hot Boys. or some other stupid nonsense, because see, I was just in the grave where everybody else was. Okay, well, beloved of Most High, I thank you that you were awakened at that time, but guess what? Then you should have had a YouTube channel. Hello? The problem was there was no YouTube. The problem was when you didn't even have Google. It was Yahoo. Okay, and Netscape and web crawler and all that stuff. We were just still trying to understand what digital satellite link was. The DSL. You hear what I'm saying? So all this stuff, and this was the thing. It was like, well, you should have, this and that, and you should have known about the Gentiles. Then why didn't you know? Because nobody was awake yet. We were still in the dust. We were still just dying with everybody else. And here's the funny thing. Now you see the context, because guess what? You see them literally dying. They're in the dust. They're dying. They are literally dying. And they're trying to rush to save themselves, and it's causing them to die even more. You hear what I'm saying, family? Yeah, had Intel website also, but you want to know what? Nobody was talking about that. You didn't have professional athletes on out there talking about that. You didn't have actors talking about that. You didn't have any type of any figures and things of that nature. Nobody was talking about this. Nobody really was. That the most that they'll talk about would be like Minister Farrakhan and people were still talking about the the Million Man March that had been taking place, a couple of years in the mid 90s. That was it. That was that. So there wasn't really much in terms of that knowledge being on out there. But let me go on to this. Verse 2, 12 and 2. And many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake. Did it say all of them? This is the word, family. We have to read. This is King James Version. We have to read. And many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake. Many of them, not all of them. Some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt. Oh, some into the kingdom mindset, some into a carnal mindset. Well, I hate the Gentile. I hate them. I hate that. I hate that. I hate this. I hate that. Well, they're gonna pay. They gotta pay. They gotta pay. And you gotta remember, you gotta be careful, because here's the thing. If you're awakening to that type of mindset, that type of carnal mindset, what was Christ? What was Yahusha? You understand? This is where a lot of folks, they trail off. Well, but he only talked to the Israelites. Well, that was this. No, what does the word say? There's a lot of opinions that were stated because it's feel goods. But guess what? You can feel good going to your death. You really can. Trust me. There are a lot of people that feel good just ordering McDonald's all day long, and then when they get a carotid artery and their heart just blows up, ain't no coming back from that. Oh, I wanted to feel good. I got into my flesh. I got into my carnality. Well, then how then is the stranger ever going to cleave to us if that's what they're going to hear? No. Because here's the thing. And this is what I know a lot of folks they're going to get mad. They're going to get mad at me. But you can be mad. I don't care. The sad thing is, there are actually more Gentiles, and I've seen Gentiles, not want to say more, but I've seen Gentiles more righteous than certain Israelites. Do you hear me? I've seen Gentiles that were more righteous than certain Israelites. And Jesus said unto the centurion, "Go, your servant has been healed." And why did Jesus say that? He said, why? Wow, man, I've never seen that much faith in all Israel. Oh, Jesus literally just clowned on all those quote unquote Israelites from that chapter. He clowned on them. Dang, this dude's like, this dude's telling me, look, I have authority. I can tell this person go here, this person go there, that one go here, that one go there. But I know I come to you because you have a power far greater than I can ever have. And I got to go to the source. You understand? He didn't have to go to a black person. That's like going to that is. He went to a black man and said, "I need your help." I'm the carrier. I'm the standard bearer. I'm the anchor for white supremacy, which was in the Romanology. And I'm coming to a black man because I need help because my servant's dying. And Jesus said, look, I haven't even seen this much faith in all Israel. Go ahead, your servant's to you. And then we also have the example with the Samaritan. Again, the Samaritans were not Israelites. They were transplantees. They're transplanted. It ain't hard if you're a king, say, hey, y'all leave, y'all go here. Get everything, abandon everything, leave, and go down to there. because we're going to bring these Israelites up here. And that's the thing. It's like the biblical exegesis has just been, it's just been done incorrectly, because we don't want to be we see people being very disingenuous to serve their purpose and not reading the word, not reading the scriptures. And understanding and having a context of that understanding. Listen, they never had officers black officers in the Confederate Army. Show me that one. You're going to be looking for years, because it never happened. Or if there was a black officer, it was because the dude was mixed. He was light, bright, basically white, and they never knew. None, not at all. And this is where we're seeing this thing, and we're trying to interpret things that Christ had already set the standard on. And this is why people try to ignore really the New Testament, because it is actually a new covenant, because we were dead. We are rising on up. Do you understand? We were made low, they were brought high. The problem is, look, we're trying to get back, and here's the problem. They, as the Gentiles, can't see themselves getting low. It's literally a problem of us coming back to the top, and it's a problem of then going back down to the even keel. Because why? Because then that's when Galatians has said, look, there's neither Judah, Yehudi, or Gentile through Christ. However, there is a kingdom that's established, because that kingdom mindset that's established is just like what Rome tried to establish in its counterfeit kingdom. And again, everything that man tried to establish has now started to crumble. Why do you think the Pope is running around all over the earth trying to establish things with these quote unquote religious leaders? Because they know that their stuff is crumbling. What was established is crumbling. They know they can't reconcile this virus. It's crumbling. Let me put a vaccine in me, and then when I do get the virus, it's going to make things a whole lot worse, because it's crumbling. And so let me continue reading this. Daniel chapter 12, 3 and 4. I'm going to read this. And they shall be wise, and they that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament. Do you not see a lot of these folks, especially Gentiles, are coming to these channels? They're not saying anything. A lot of them won't say anything, but they're there listening. They are there listening. And they that turn many to righteousness as the stars forever and ever. Wow. That's a responsibility. So let me just make sure that that if it's my job and it's my responsibility, well, help out Brother Karras and make sure that this Copeland needs to have his jet stream, because I don't like driving with no type of I don't like traveling with no type of thing. I'm gonna be in these cities. I'm gonna do this, but I need your blessings. I need that tithe and that offering, because no, look, I'm operating the way that the Most High needs to operate. I'm doing things the Most High needs me to do things, because this thing is starting to get established in the Most High's order. And see, you can tell when things start to establish, things always destablish, or they unravel. And this is now, you're seeing this, it's an unraveling period. But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even to the time of the end. And many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased. See, knowledge is being increased, family. Knowledge is here. Knowledge is here. This thing, I could do this right now with 70 people on different platforms. Facebook Live. I can even do, like, if you all have Microsoft Teams, we can put on out a Zoom call. There is many different avenues. But here's the thing: you better come correct with the information, because if not, the Most High is going to judge you. And I'd rather have the righteous judgments of the Most High than the judgments that are fit for the unrighteous. I'd rather get that you all get mad at me because I'm saying Brother Karras is trying to tell people that that the Israelites can marry. No, I'm not saying that the Israelites can marry. I'm just saying you have to understand where you are at in this captivity. Now, with that being said, let me go here to Deuteronomy chapter 7. And 1 and 4. Let me bring this on out to you all. Listen, family. Listen and pay attention. Listen. Hallelujah. When the Lord thy God shall bring thee into the land whither thou goest to possess it. Common English. When God brings us into the land that we're going to get ready to possess, let me break this down for you all. And hath cast out many nations before thee. And he's going to start taking nations on out. We're going to see that. That's the carpenters, because this was the type in the shadow. This is a shadow of what we're going to get ready to see right now. The Hittites and the Girgashites and the Amorites and the Canaanites and the Perizzites and the Hivites and the Jebusites, 7 nations greater and mightier than thou. And when the Lord thy God shall deliver them before thee, thou shalt smite them and utterly destroy them. Thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor shew mercy unto them, or show mercy to them. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son, nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son. So don't make any covenants with them when you're in the land. Now listen, this is verse 4. This is important. For they will turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other gods. Okay, for they will turn away thy son from following the Most High, that they may serve other gods. So will the anger of the Lord be kindled against you and destroy thee suddenly. Family, is this not where we're at right now? We're in the dust of the earth. We're in the dust. We've been awoken out of the dust. You know what the dust simply means? Look, we were in destruction, because what happens in destruction? When you're totally destroyed, you just dust. When your body decays, you just dust. You don't even have bones anymore. Your body is just dust. But just like in Daniel 12, 1 through 4, when we have awakened from out of that dust, you're going to either awaken to everlasting life or shame and contempt. Those are the scriptures we just read. And the reason being is because, look, there's a carnality that's assigned to us. It feels good to say, man, you want to know what? Those Gentiles are going to get it. I can't wait. Man, those heathens, I can't wait. Because it feels good. It feels good. You want to tell them off. Like, I got generations worth of hate assigned for you. And the Most High saying, no, hold on. If you think like that, you're going to be destroyed like that. Do you want to get destroyed like that? Do you want to go right back into destruction, or do you want to follow what Christ has said? I'd rather follow what Yahusha had said. I'd rather follow what he had assigned for us. Now, this isn't saying, look, I'm not saying this. I'm not going to say this. I'm not saying, look, you need to go ahead and start, you can marry whomever, you can marry any Gentile that you want to marry, everything is fine and dandy and that. No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that, because you want to know why? Because we've awoken. We have awoken from our slumber. Now, in our slumber and in our dust and in our decay, guess what? We made decisions that were contrary to what the Most High had said. However, we were not in our land, and we were under our destruction. We were totally done. So how do you convict somebody of something that you are doing? Hey, guess what? I used to steal for a living. Same as you. But guess what? I got a job. Oh, you still don't have a job? Well, guess what? You're guilty now. Wait, no, because we're all coming into this thing. We're all getting into this thing. Some are just going to have a little bit more baggage than others. And that's okay, because we weren't going to be a people that was whole. I'm not saying if you are already married to that Gentile, look, you need to shun the Gentile, get them on out of there because you want to know what is just going to bring devastation thing. No, I'm not saying that. That's not even what the word says. Because if you actually look at Corinthians, it talks about that. Listen, you pray for that spouse that's what? Unbelieving, right? That the power of God may do what? May deliver that spouse through the spouse who is believing. Because why? Because we never understood what this destruction was going to mean to us. We didn't know that. And again, I still say this. Look, if you have that mentality, then guess what? Then you should have had a channel back in 2000 preaching all this, teaching all this, but you didn't, because you want to know why? That was never going to be the case, because we were still asleep for that reason. A lot of us didn't wake up until around 2015, 2016. We were starting to see the grumblings, around 2010, 2011. But in earnest, the Most High Spirit wasn't on us as a nation waking us on up. We were still in the dust. We were just kind of sifting around. Things were starting to shake. But now, as we're getting up out of this dust, we're understanding, okay, I came up out of the dust, but I know who my Savior is. That's Yahusha HaMashiach. Because I know what I need to do. I need to walk this thing out in love. Now, if I walk this thing out in hate, then guess what? To hate, I'll be condemned. I'm not concerned about leaving captivity. I'm concerned about being in the wilderness. Let me tell you, I'm more concerned about being in the wilderness, because if you're going to come to the Most High half-stepping, I can only imagine. Is he going to rot that dude's eyeballs out with some maggots? I can imagine every single scary movie or horror movie of, like people just exploding, pink mist, getting that, turning crunchy. Well, I told this Gentile there, I didn't like him. I hate him. Okay, you gone. Why? Because we're out of that now. Yeah, but I still remember Uncle Joe and so and so. Are you there in the land of Uncle Joe? Do you know why you were punished? Do you know why? Yeah, I know why, but you. This is what the Israelites had on them when they left Egypt. Do you understand? These folks were still dying by the dozens, by the tens of thousands. Those folks were still dying by the tens of thousands. The Most High said, Moses, come on up here, man. Let me talk to you one. Let me talk to you one. Look, you see them Negroes out there yelling and complaining? Look, I'm about to end them, and I'm just going to make you a nation. This is what the Most High said. I'm going to end them, and I'm just going to make you a nation. What you think? Moses had to say, Most High, chill. Before you even go there, I know our people are ignorant. I know they be doing things to get you mad. I know that they can be some straight up fools. But Father, remember your covenant with Abraham, your friend. Remember, these are your people, Father. This is your family. And God said, all right. Oh man, I had to laugh because you want to know why? Think about your family. Not just look, if you're black on in here, if you're an Israelite on in here, think about your family right now. Everybody has a Pookie and a Ray Ray up in your family. Excuse me. Everybody has a Johnny Can't Do Right or an aunt out your mind in the family. And it's like, as much as you try to tell them, it's like, oh man, this is Sally Can't Get It. Thank you, Melinda, for the gift. I appreciate it. And this is what we're seeing. This is what we're seeing. And when I was reading the comments and things of that nature, I said, we're just so wrapped up because you have to remember the whole point for us was to be mad at them. That's what the enemy was trying to do. Let me just create this division, this destruction, because I want them to get mad. And then guess what? I want them to not have what they think that they're going to have in this after this captivity. I want them to be so carnally wrapped up that when the Most High does get them, he's just going to be like, all right, half y'all going to die because I can't deal with this. Do you understand? You think that the enemy's really trying to set things on up for us to have this kingdom established? Or you think the enemy's going to try and say to look, I got to get them so emotionally distraught that it gives me like a 300-year head start. So when they start coming after me, I already have things together. Because there's going to be what? A kingdom that's here. And then what? The Most High's kingdom. Don't be naive to think that they're not already doing this. The plan is already in place. The plan is in place. You just don't understand that we're still in the middle of the building while all the important folks are outside the demolition site, outside the fence with the little construction hats and collars on and, and the little hard hats, doing the 5, 4, 3. Because here's the thing. They already have their folks on out. Thank you, My Life Totally, for the gift. I appreciate it. Because for them, okay, we're going to collapse this thing with the people on in there and their quote unquote undesirables. Because there's always a remnant of people. They're already like, look, we're going to, whatever, too bad, so sad. All the important ones, please get on the ark. Come on, family. We've seen these movies far too many times. If you haven't seen Greenland, I want you to see it. If you haven't seen 2012, look, they already know. Okay, you have been designated. Why? Because you either paid or you had some sort of skill set. And you know, this is what is going on. Because for them, when that button goes off, oh, they're already gone. They've already told you, look, we're out. See you later. We're not going to Greenland. We're going to New Zealand. You got the wrong land associated. New Zealand, not Greenland. I'm going to Scotland or Ireland. Y'all going to get messed up there. Where are you going to? I'm going to Deutschland. Why? Because we already know who's going to be surviving here. I'm going to be in the Rhineland. Okay? Yes, Sean, I know that. I looked at that too. I said, these fools really would think that they're going to get out of their destruction. Why does it always have to be us? We already know that ain't going to be us. We're going to be out of here. They're going to be the ones trying to do that shuffle of, I got to get somewhere. Oh, man. I got to get somewhere. We got to make it on out. And then it's like a black guy's going to be coming with you and everything. No, we are not. Do you not understand what this word says? We out of here. Y'all white folks that want to tag along, come on. Come on. Look, just make sure that you have your stuff packed. And I don't want to hear y'all complaining when we get there. We ain't got no grocery stores. Ain't they going to have an Amazon? Is FedEx going to be here with my stuff tomorrow? Where's the UPS store? I know that this thing is international. Listen, we are in the Congo. Well, we're going to have to pronounce a lot of things like this. Now, listen, I'm going to have to learn how to use my tongue for the top of my mouth. Because when we get there, the other that other stick. What are you doing here? We did not want you here because the time was not ready. It was not right. We said 10 years. Why are you here less than 10 years? Because the Most High said so, fool. Come on. Did you not understand the secrets of Fatima? What? Get out of here. He's tripping. Oh, okay, family. Let me stop playing. And I'm talking about being out of carnality. Here's my simple self. Here's my simple self. I need to understand where the safari is at because I am going to be doing a lot of hunting. Show me where the gold mines are at. Yeah, we talking about trying to roll our R speaking Spanish. How you gonna roll them clicks? Oh man. Black folks, we're not gonna be taking any type of we ain't gonna be doing that. We're gonna be talking and we're just gonna have we're gonna be having like one of those bouncer clickers and trying to be talking to them about that do you have a click pen? No, my friend. We do not use Amazon here. We call it Amazonia. Thank you, Shalom Robinson, for the gift. This is why I was like, man, Lord, Father, I can't be doing these lies, because if I do these lies, I just start getting silly. I start getting silly. They're gonna say, man, we don't like Judah. Those fools don't know how to use their mouth to click. They sound all funny. They sound like Eddie Murphy's character on Coming to America, or Trading Places. Over there. Get my pen. Oh man. And that's what we have to understand. Look, when we're up on out of here, we're not going to be doing that silly stuff that they're seeing on the movies. We're not going to be doing that, because they know how this thing is going to go. And for them, well, let me provide this narrative that I want them to kind of live with. I want them to deal with this. We're not going to be dealing with that. Did I already say? Thank you, Shalom Robinson, for the super sticker. I appreciate it. Sorry, family, because when I start going on in, we start going on in, because it's a natural response. They're trying to keep on to this thing. We know. Look. How many of us are really going to be going to that rally tomorrow to demonstrate or protest or do anything else? Not a lot of us. Not a lot of us. Because why? No, that's your thing. Why am I even, look, y'all even done told us, even after the election, y'all aren't going to do anything. So why am I going to waste my time with this election? I don't even live in Georgia. So I'm not even paying attention to it. But I got family that's there in Georgia. But they want to get us emotionally involved and wrapped up into this, that was the game from the start. Because you got to remember, see, as a people that has been dead, okay, well, guess what? Get wrapped up into this, get wrapped up into that, get wrapped up into what you feel and how you feel. Because when you're more wrapped up into this, you're wrapped into the idea that your God is the politics. Your God is the TV. Your God is all these other distraction pieces that has been placed upon our people for this moment. And this is where we have to start understanding. Look, we can be wrapped in our carnal, but that doesn't produce anything. That doesn't produce life. Go ahead and hate up on the Gentiles. Y'all really are you understand, y'all are really doing that kind of opposite, right? Who's really going to want to work for you? Who's really going to want to work for you? Because we're going to be working together. It's not like, oh, you're going to do this, you're going to do that. Okay, operate like that. You're going to get killed real quick. Go ahead. Learn not the way of the heathens. Isn't that what the Most High said? For a reason. There's for a reason. Yeah, I'm gonna do all this, I'm gonna do all that. Okay, you're gonna get judged. How does such and such die in his sleep? Oh, Willie has sleep apnea. When we done made it on out here, they really done forgot to get the little adapter for his sleep apnea machine. And Willie done dead with a pillow right next to his face. Go ahead and say all that ignorant stuff that you want to. Oh, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. Those ignorant behind cants, really? You're going to get dealt with. It ain't going to be the Most High that's going to deal with them too. Okay? These folks aren't out here just being silly. Yeah, I thought Willie was in good condition, but he was saying all this stuff and trying to do all that stuff, and he was treating these folks real mean. I told him, look, you don't do that in the wilderness, and I guess that sleep apnea took him. Well, these folks done killed them in his sleep, putting that pillow right over him. Because listen, if you're going to deal in wicked, you're going to get repaid in wicked. Come on now, this is what we're trying to establish. We're supposed to be a righteous people. Not doing anything. I want to just get on out of here because I want to do the same exact things that my oppressors did to me. Really? Okay. Okay. So think about this, family. This is, and I'm praying that a lot of these questions were answered because I wasn't just going to address everybody, write on out some things. But this is the thing, family. Clear up until the time of David. You realize you had, quote unquote, the Gentiles up in David's line. David's grandmother was a Gentile. Ruth was a Gentile. Either grandmother or great grandmother. It wasn't that far away. It was about 3 or 4 generations, if I'm not mistaken. Not that far. Solomon, his mom was a Gentile. And let me tell you, there's actually prescriptions to that because the Most High knows what's happening and how things are happening. He says this. He says, listen, there are prescriptions to this. If I'm not mistaken, I believe it's in Leviticus or Numbers. But if you take a Gentile, because see, the Most High knows our hearts. He knows what should be done, but he knows, okay, y'all are going to do it anyway. So if you're going to do it anyway and you're in the land, then this is what I need you to do. You're going to shave off all the hair, all her hair. And then guess what? You're going to dress her in sackcloth. And then you're going to have her living up in your house, but you're going to be away from her for 30 days. 30 days. Because why? If you truly love her and she truly loves you, then they're going to have to go through some things. And then after that, that's when they'd be considered cleaned, right? Because they're taking everything off that the Most High considered unclean. So he would always have some sort of a prescription for that. He would always have some sort of a workaround, because it's a matter of grace. It's a matter of the heart. Okay, you like this person? Okay, there you go. Do this. Do that. Do you not think that Israel didn't know that? They sure did. And if Samson had done what he was supposed to do, that the Most High had said to do, his wife would have been shaved down. His wife would have been living in the house, the little guest house, with the sackcloth. Because why? Because it's a humility problem. It's a humility issue. Imagine asking that right now. Hey, look, we can be together, but now since I'm awake and I need you to do this before we enter into a covenant. Shave your head down. What? No, let me get them clippers. We're putting this thing on a baldy. Huh? You're gonna be all right. Oh, no wigs, 30 days. Just tell your company you got to be on a leave of absence because you're going through wedding rites. And you know, this is where you would start seeing, nah, I can't do it. I can't, But so that's kind of the funny thing. Look, it's not the catch 22, but if we're gonna go apples to apples with this, here we go. Because in the land, that's it. Oh, guess what? You won't be able to do priestly duties for, you know, a little while. You know, at least 10 generations. Okay. We're good with that. Well, you know, if you don't get assigned those duties, you know, you don't get that pay. You don't get that priestly money. No, I think we're good. No, I think we're good. No, I'm all right. You know, I choose love. I choose love and affection. I choose that. Okay, that's fine. So we go on over to her and her pops' house, and we got them clippers, them scissors and them clippers, and we got that sackcloth. It ain't no Michael Kors. This is called sackcloth for like that you get. Look, we just strung up the potato sacks, those Idaho russet bags, notched the little hole on out. And that's what she's got to wear for 30 days because y'all in love. We'll see. Oh, yeah, she got the designer. Made in Idaho. How much does she love you? How much do you love her? Yeah, exactly, Melinda. All sorts of itchy. Ugh. Looking like a bag of the pre-chips. You are a prelay. Man, you don't even got no seasoning. You're not even sauerkraut. You ain't even sour cream and chives. You ain't even cheddar. She gonna be spicy jalapeno because she gonna get mad at you. Why I gotta do this? Well, baby, because you know, baby, because I love you, and you know, baby, I just found out I'm an Israelite, and you know, baby, for me to uphold everything, you know, you love your man, right? No, I'm not trying to be looking like a monk off of Kung Fu: The Legend Continues. No, I'm not trying to go all that. All right, then I guess we got to go certain ways. You know, because you're not just this isn't a dedication to me; it's a dedication to the Most High. If your heart's on in it, hey, it's not a big deal. My hair will grow back eventually, not a big deal. But it's a sacrifice. It is. It is a condition of a sacrifice. And look, a lot of them, they don't play. That hair, that's a deal breaker. That's a deal breaker. Wait, you want me to do this? You want me to do that? Yeah. Because it's in service of the Most High. Because he wants to know that your heart is in it for his people. And I'm not sure, Catherine C., why they did that. I think that, to be honest, in terms of why Hitler did that, I think that was more of of a cleanliness standard because you would have certain issues with like just head lice and things of that nature. I just remember that from boot camp. Everybody had their head shaved and everything else. And, you know, when I had hair and I went to boot camp, you know, I had my little fresh fade, like, you know, I got everything intact and in order. And then they sat my behind down and they put it on the Scully. And I looked like Private Snowflake. That's right, Private Snowflake. Sir, yes, sir. Oh. And you know, so that's where you see that it was a prescription that the Most High said, look, if you have and you take somebody to be a wife, even in your when you're back in your land, then this is what happens. This is what you need to have in order for them to be brought in to the kingdom or brought into at least your family. Now, your family and your son and your daughters won't have that necessary coverings that everybody else would have because they know, okay, well, you know, they're a half breed. Uh-oh, they're this or that. They're not entitled to that full status unless they have what? Unless they have a covering, right? 3 generations worth of a covering of a covering. So you can be out up to 10 generations, but you can be redeemed back in 3 generations. 3 or 4 generations. That's what they had with David. And David said, look, I'm going to give you Solomon. You know, that was actually that was actually something that a lot of the Israelites didn't like. Well, why not Absalom? Because Absalom, his mother was an Israelite. You undo it with Bathsheba, man. Isn't that the lady that you had the affair with, and you done killed the husband, and you're making the son the king? You know, these are the things because see, the Most High looks at the heart of the matter. So as much as I'm joking around, as much as I'm giving you these anecdotes and things of that nature, it's always about the heart of the matter. And he's not necessarily looking at just our hearts, but he's looking at theirs also. You know, I'm going to tell you, the worst thing is that if you understand that your kingdom, something that was your inheritance, something, no matter how you got it, good, bad, or indifference, is now being systematically ripped apart. It's hard to come to the comprehension and the realization that, wow, in order for me to survive this thing, I actually need to cling on to them, to a people that I know should absolutely hate me, to something I know is going to make me absolutely uncomfortable. That's the sacrifice. That's a courage. Now, it's also courage for us to say, you know what? I want to pay them back and I want to do this. I want to do that. Okay, you can. But you can't pay back evil for evil. It never happens. It never does well. You give it to the Most High because the Most High is the warrior. He's the Most High of vengeance. He's the Most High of judgment. Look, I've given it to him. For those that want to come on, let's go. For those that want to resist, hey, you know it is what it is. But this is where we're at right now. We should not have a spirit of hate, a spirit of contempt and shame. This is what the scriptures were saying. This is what Daniel 12 was saying. This is what Deuteronomy 7 was saying. It makes it clear as we're waking up. We don't have any more excuses in terms of how we want to perform and see how this kingdom mindset has been illustrated by Yahusha. We're not going to say and sit here with this camp ideology that has terrible biblical exegesis. Now, we definitely know how Rome has always tried to provide things and cause things to be in confusion because that's Babylon. But now we're waking on up and we're seeing the game. Listen, we're not going to be playing Rome's game when we're up and out of here. We know that when we're doing things, we're doing it with a purpose. We're doing it with how the Most High needs us to be that shining star, that bright star. People don't want to go to a dark person. Who wants to go to a person that's always mean or yelling there? No, man, that I don't like his countenance. I don't like his spirit. That was one of the things. Like when you're working, who wants to go to that boss that's always a jerk? I never went to that boss that was a jerk. I'll go to the boss that was nice. Because you go to the boss that's a jerk, you already know what that response is going to be. And it's like, all right, why did I even go to that fool to begin with? I got some papers for you to sign. You give them the folder, to look over the work. Oh, gosh. Here it comes. Well, and then, you always have to feel that heat from whatever issues that they had. Because I hate to say, but a lot of our folks have been awakened to shame and confusion. Excuse me, shame and contempt. Shame and contempt. That's Daniel 12:2. Hey, yeah, you're right. You see, Uriah was a Hittite, a son of a Canaan. Yeah, son of Canaan. Yeah. And David did what? David not just slept with, but he married Bathsheba. She was a Hittite. So this is where we're on that, family. So, I wanted to bring this into a pre-recorded format. Not gonna lie, family, I wanted to bring this into a pre-recorded format because these topics are very sensitive. And it's sensitive because really, we have to be a leader in the kingdom. We have to be the light in the kingdom. And I'm going to tell you this thing. This is just me. A lot of this stuff is very dark when you're seeing our people waking up because we're waking up in the flesh. So it's very dark. And so you're seeing the personalities of, well, we're loving. And it's like, well, you know what? Your fruits don't exemplify it. Your fruits don't really show it. And when you see when you're like by a dark individual, it's like, some things when I was in the awakening, I would just always pray. I said, Father, let the Holy Spirit give me discernment in terms of who I need to listen to. Because I'm not trying to listen to somebody that's going to lead me straight to hell. Thank you for awakening. Now you're going to awaken straight to hell. Well, I wanted to awaken to everlasting life. I know my heritage. I know my lineage. Yeah. But this is what's happening. This is what you're doing because your heart wasn't right when you first awakened. Listen, who would want to do that? Who would want to do that? That's why, look, it does sound very, it does sound more appealing in the UA community, even though, their fruits are definitely terrible. But it's like, I'd rather still be asleep in Christianity because if this is the hate and the contempt and the ill manner towards our brothers and sisters, even under the bloodline, then what does that make me? Look, when we have awakened, we don't awaken in the carnality. We need to awaken to the kingdom. And I know, and I've seen a lot of folks they awaken to the carnality because it's like, well, yeah, I get a chance to see the Most High, knock them out. Oh, I'm going to have them do this. I'm going to have them do that. Okay, well, guess what? If you're going to be right back in that wickedness, then you're not going to be around forever. And that's what I had to say, family. So again, I had about, when I first started this message should have been a pre-recorded message that I had put on out there. And I'm praying that it was just as good as my pre-recorded. But I'm glad that you all are here because I can see your inputs and things of that nature. And I know we're broken people. We're people that, look, it's like, are we actually going to see justice that the Most High is going to give? Are we going to see, the Most High move on our behalf? And yes, we will. But we have to do things in a manner that's not carnal. That's what the enemy really wants us to do, right? Can I be honest with you all? Because when they had the whole thing with that New Jersey couple that they tried to pin on the Black Hebrew Israelites and all the other crazy nonsense that they did a couple years ago, that's what the enemy really wants. He wants somebody in this community to strike out and do the craziness because it's, there you go. We knew it. We see it. Ha, ha, ha. Look at you all. And you're playing right into the game. You're playing right into their game. Now, I'm not saying, okay, well, listen, since you're in captivity, you can do whatever you want. No, because I told you, look, you are going to have that consequence. You're going to have a consequence. That's just a matter of the thing. If you've awakened and you know that, okay, I'm gonna go into this covenant, I want to go into this marriage, I want to go into this life, but she's really not awakened or they're really not awakened. Then that's the problem that you risk. So, look, everything you have to have discernment. You need to bring it to that spouse, to that husband, that wife. And I can just say this. And I can just say this. Again, the Most High already knew that our people, we do things, whether or not you're awakened, you're out of captivity, you're not in captivity. So he said this, listen, if they are really worth it to you, shave their head off, put them in the burn lab. And you have them on out in the little house, the tent, outhouse, shed, whatever, for 30 days. Because it's about humility. It's about the heart. And if their heart is up to the standard, look, all right, this is fine. Look, if the Most High says it, then that's that. So, family, that's what I had to say on these matters. I appreciate you all getting on in here. I know I didn't give you all much opportunity to come on in and get acquainted. For those that have come, I definitely appreciate it. The next time I have my live, I'll definitely shout you all on out. I didn't get my live or my little recorded thing because my screen Tastify was messing on up, and I was like, oh, I really didn't want to do a live, but here I am. So the Most High said, "Now get on out here and start speaking," and this is where we're at. This is how we're moving. So so family, keep prayed on up, keep praise in your mouth, because things are moving. You see how things are going on outside in this environment, especially if you're in Georgia. All my GA folks, that's there. I'm praying for you all too, because you knew this season was going to start getting crazy. So yeah, so this is where we're on at. We have to really, just like what Melinda was saying, look, we have to remove this vanity that we have on us. We have to remove it. We have to remove the vanity. And that's all of us. We can only, the first person that I always look at on all these matters is me. Before I could even say anything, this is why I said, look, I had this message on my heart before I even did the Gentile question, love and marriage. That was the first thing I had on my heart, was me. What have I done? How can I speak on this? Because you want to understand, see, the Most High provides practical applications that we all have to go through, me, myself, and it's that teaching model. You can't teach unless you've gone through it and had that experience. And let me tell you, family, I don't like to have that experience. I don't like to have that model. But that's the model that the Most High has provided. So sorry about the phone call, family. So with that said, family, thank you for your support. Thank you for showing on up. If anyone wants to support, I have that in my description, and I have that on the banner. So, if you have any type of prayer request, things of that nature, feel free to reach on out to me. If you are in the Tampa or Orlando area and you are part of a congregation, please reach on out to me, because I'd like to see what's going on in my area, and I'd like to see how, as a community, we're coalescing and beginning to build each other on up. Because this is a time right now, seeing all these congregations, these assemblies, and things of that nature. I'm like, all right, well, let's see how this thing goes, because we definitely have to shout this thing on out for our family. So with that said, family, those are my closing thoughts. You can reach me on Hebrew Sphere or on Facebook. I prefer Hebrew Sphere. So that app is coming. Brother Dante is working on that. So I'm a big proponent of that. HebrewConnect.tv, so that's another big one. I got to start moving my stuff on over there. And I think this today was a catalyst for that. So family, I definitely appreciate your support. And with that said, Shalom, Salaamah, Shalom. Peace and blessings, Israel.